wow, we're having a night. And I'm not making, and I know that he knows I'm Dan.
Well,
Thank you, Dan.
also I'm hearing from Gail in the chat room, and she was really understanding what you're talking about. Said she felt that same way in Peru, and then she's thanking you and sending love to Dan, surrounding him with flowers.
Oh, see, Dan, I hope you're hearing that. It's just, usually I start the show by having us ground our energy together, and I just didn't tonight because Mercury's in retrograde. That's my excuse. But in reality, our intention is there anyway. I know that when I come and I set myself up in front of this camera each week, that I am simply the reflection of you, and you are my reflection. And I'm learning to, although there's a camera facing me, I'm learning to allow the vibration of your existence out there in the world listening to actually come into some kind of physical understanding for me. So in other words, my sense is that I almost feel everybody in the room who is listening or who will listen. I'm starting to understand that it doesn't matter whether or not I'm looking at a camera, that I still am connected to you on such a visceral vibrational level. And I know that, and I teach that, and I work with that. But this is a pretty fascinating experience for me too, to be sitting here and doing my work under these conditions, and knowing that nothing is changed. You could be sitting right in front of me and it's always the same. I'm learning as much as you will ever learn from listening to me. So I thank you for your presence wherever you are, whenever you're here. And with that said, I'm gonna defer to Brian a moment and let him help me out, get started again.
Well, what you were saying before, that if you could have a job that they paid you for loving people.
I'm going to cry if you do this.
What you just did with Dan, you are a channel of love and light. And what you're able to do, because you do tap into higher levels of consciousness, multi-dimensional consciousness, you feel the vibrations, you experience that person. And no matter where they are, I've watched you through your heart chakra, just love people and heal people, and they feel it, and they really get it. You're like, and I've said this before, you're like the divine love. When people don't have mothers, okay, or mothers that loved them and nurtured them, the feminine part of their nurturing, all right, you hold that space for all of us, for men, for women, for children, for animals. I've watched you do it. I've watched people's responses to you. And it's amazing to see. You know, do you get paid for that? You know, in some ways you do. But you know what? It's a job that we need you to have. It's something that you know how much I love you, and it's interesting that people say I love you, you know. But we can only, the deeper love we have for someone is the more knowledge we have of them. And the more that I learn about you and come to know you, the deeper I love you. And you are one big heart.
You know, I appreciate what you're saying, and I of course, in my mind, I start going to tying that into things, and you know, it's fascinating when people say that they don't necessarily believe that I'm talking to someone who's crossed over, or that we can, or they don't know how, and I just want to be able to take them and go, listen, let me put my hand here and let you feel what it feels like, and then remember what they felt like, and they will come right back in. The vibrational match that we make in the physical form is the same vibrational match we will continue to make with those once they leave.
Right.
So the bridge across forever, as my friend Richard Bach, who I've never met but I feel like I've known forever, says, is that bridge across forever is real, and that the way to connect is through that authentic vibration.
Right.
And that vibration, once you've had it, once your grandpa put his hand on your knee and you felt that he loved you and you felt seen, even if it was for 30 seconds in your life, that vibration that you felt will always be alive, not only in you, but with him or his vibration, no matter how he's incarnated himself in other experiences. And it will always come when called to.
You had an experience with a client, probably in the last 2 months. The client understood intellectually what you were talking, what you do. but experientially, she didn't believe it because she's never had the experience.
Right.
And you had a session with her while she was on the table.
We just did this morning in conscious movement course.
Right.
Yeah.
And her, was it her grandfather
Yes.
showed up?
Yes.
And she just, I mean this, and I wasn't there, but just from the explanation, she kind of freaked out, saying, "This is real. I could see him. I could feel him. I could."
Yeah, she is a total love. Do you mind me? Okay, she is a love, and she's been coming to me. She was coming to my shows when they were live last year, and we know her and her partner socially, and she loves me. I mean, she really enjoys me and being with me, but she's never. And she'll tell you honestly that she didn't believe in any of the things that I was saying. She just wanted to but didn't believe them, and certainly enjoys me. So she had several she'd had several readings with you, and Brian is very gifted intuitively, but part of the beauty of his gift is that he takes the intuition and the knowledge of the astrology, and he can apply it in a way that your left brain, your pragmatic self, can grab hold of that. And I got to do this. There's sinuses and tears everywhere. Anyway, he can deliver that to you, but mine is my work is more experiential, and you have to have the blocks of the lack of belief kind of have to be lifted or moved out of the way for you to allow yourself to have the experience. Well, anyway, she came to class and one day, and I was so stunned because she said to me, "I think I need to make an appointment with you now." And I was like, wow, that's a step. And she started giggling, and she's like, I know. Now, I'll be honest with you guys as I tell you the story. I didn't know that she didn't believe in what I did. I thought that maybe that she was showing up because she did know that this was real. So she comes and she has her session, and we're on the table, and we're moving energy and flowing and doing, the clearing part and all that. And then I started to see things and feel things, and she did as well. And I'm having an empathic experience where I'm feeling what she's feeling and seeing what she's seeing and all these things. But I'm seeing it, and in my experience, I know that it's real. I've done this thousands of times. And so I'm assuming, this was my experience, I'm assuming she's knowing it too, and she's going along with it, and yes, she sees this, and yes, she sees that. And I said, I think I see, I asked her about her grandfather. I'm like, is your grandfather present? And she goes, oh yes. And she's having this kind of, almost what I understand now was a little bit of a fantasy that she was allowing to happen, using her imagination to allow these experiences to possibly be available to her. But it was still in her logical mind, this was fantasy. Just in her logical mind, it was fantasy. So it was holding the space for her. And as this got more intense and more pure with the vibration, and I'm clear it's not fantasy, I know it's really happening, but I didn't realize that she didn't have that yet. And then suddenly she goes, oh my God, oh my God. And she grabs her body and closes her eyes and scrunches up in a ball, and she starts crying, and she's shaking, saying, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm like, what's going on, honey? What's going on? And she said, this is real. And I was like, huh? I didn't say it like that, but part of me was like, well, of course it's real. And she says, oh my God, he's standing right here. My grandpa really is standing right here, and he's telling me this, and he's telling me that, and I'm not making this up. I'm not having to put an image in or anything. He's right here. And it was just fascinating because for several weeks now, she still hears him very clearly, and she's writing a book, and he is helping her with the book, and she's just amazed by that. And she actually shared that this morning, that indeed she did not believe that, and then when it happened, it has changed everything, absolutely changed everything in the way she's experiencing her reality. So with that said, I've also been told that I have less than 30 seconds to close this show up for the evening, and I just want to thank everybody that was connected with us tonight and that will connect with us in the future on this show or any other show, for your presence and your interest and your desire to learn, to connect with your higher self and live the best life you possibly can, because that's all we're here doing, is creating and growing and supporting each other along the way. And until next week, I hope you remember that you may be the only light on your street who even knows that you are one. And for all of us, just let it rip, let it shine. Thanks a bunch. We'll see you next week.